so next up, we have Carolina Braunschweig and Brent Watts. Did Brent make it? Very good. These folks represent the 5 building owners on East 40th Street, and they are requesting a zoning change to TC1 for that stretch on East 40th Street from Bull Street to Drayton Street. Correct?
Okay, thank you for having me. I'm Brent Watts. I don't even know what's on there, to be honest with you. I'm this one, and this. Carolina, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Carolina. We just all live on 40th Street between Bull and Drayton, and we're here because we want to convert our little blue part of the street, the last little part, the 1/3 of the block, over to reflect what the street really is. It's really a commercial street with 3 houses on it, and we just want new zoning to reflect that it's like a totally commercial block and have more options for our properties. So the 2 and 2 on the upper right is me and Matt Beatty, who's not here. And then that's the Rainbow House, and the last 2 and 2 is Brent's houses.
That is so much better than I was gonna do. Glad you got to do that instead of me. I'll just add to it. You guys obviously live in the neighborhood, know this area really well. This street in particular has changed a lot in the last 8 or so years. You'll see we got a Bro Shoes representative here, one of our neighbors. But you know, I think it was a little more residential, and it just continues to change over time. It's really kind of a highway of, I don't know, very nice pedestrians leaving Starland Yard and the other places on the east side or the west side that walk toward Mood Rights and all that stuff. And it's, I don't know that it's a street where you're gonna have a traditional neighborhood person that wants to live there full time. So I think we all have different goals. There's 3 or 4 different property owners here. But the ask is to give us more flexibility. Having just nothing but residential there is kind of tough. We'd love to see more commercial uses, storefronts, things that are more interesting so that it's more kind of contiguous commercial as you leave those places and go to the other side, as I mentioned. Do we have other slides? Okay, I'm gonna let her do that. She's better than me.
You know, the street is already a corridor. I mean, the way it operates is that people already are they're having dinner, they're at Starland Yard, they're at Lucia, they're at all those places. And then they either park on 40th Street or they use the street to kind of go over to where there's more bars and restaurants. So that means delivery trucks, parking issues, people leaving lots of loud noises as they park and fight and have conversations. And what we as sort of homeowners and residents of the neighborhood is we want to just kind of fill out the commercial corridor that already exists. And so the next 2 slides really just show what the street looks like right now. So this is one side of the street and it looks really cute and residential, but that's just like the last squished part of the block. That's really what the block looks like. It's a lot of parking, and then it's Bro Shoes, it's F45, it's the Soul Salons, and those are the only sort of residential tenants on that street.
Also to point out really quick that those houses that you're looking at there, there's nothing behind them. So there's no parking behind. So there's no off-street parking. But for commercial spaces, there is a paid parking lot right there. So if you're gonna live there, I don't think you're gonna pay, you're not really gonna wanna pay to park. But if you're going to a business for a second, there is parking. So another point, I think, that commercial is appropriate.
And behind those buildings, there's also no residences. It's all commercial lots behind those buildings as well. Yes, yeah.
So is that it? Okay.
And this is the other half of the street. It's these 2 houses. This is currently being redeveloped on the corner. and then just my little house, and then the rest of the street is already parking. So our plan is to try and convert everything into commercial buildings.
Should we take questions?
You don't have a choice.
All right, give us the
A
questions.
quick question first from me. Now, you said homeowners, but do you all, I know Carolina, you live there, but Brent, do you live there, or do the other folks that are petitioning this actually live in the homes?
Mine right now are long-term rentals,
Okay. And the other folks on the street?
pretty much exclusively Sky Kids.
Okay. But the other buildings on the street? Are they-
Rainbow House is empty, and
Okay.
that's really it. It's just me, the Rainbow House, and Brent.
Okay, elephant in the zoning code.
No,
You want to wait for me to ask this
I know
question?
exactly what you're gonna
Okay.
ask.
One of the uses included in the basket you're asking for is short-term rentals with no owner or occupant. Can we expect all these houses to turn into those, or what are the
Yeah.
plans?
We've all actually had this conversation, and in all seriousness, none of us have plans to do so. My space doesn't make sense, the Rainbow House doesn't make sense, and quite frankly, the house in the corner doesn't make sense. The way they're built and laid out, they're really, especially that house on the corner, the way it was designed, the way it was originally, and the way it operated until just a few years ago, was a commercial space on the bottom with a single apartment on top.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
So is the idea to, I mean, I can understand from your perspective to have more options in terms of if you want to sell the property. Do you have any idea about, is there any interest in someone just redeveloping that, like just tearing down what's there? And
You can't tear it down.
you can't tear it down.
They're historic properties.
Oh, I see.
Contributing structures.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'm from the Rainbow House, and we are already, hopefully you've noticed, our lovely social media. We are actively promoting it, and not as an Airbnb. I think we're signing up long-term tenants for commercial use on the ground floor, right as it is. And we are a health, beauty, and wellness space. Please see us if you're interested in becoming a tenant. We are not going to go the Airbnb route, just so you know. That has nothing to do with our plans. Just one.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else?
If you say you won't do Airbnb, that should be in the deed or something, so that, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. We sign long-term leases. They're
Okay,
already
but
signed.
I would say that the owner should. Okay, I go back 33 years here, and I recall that long discussion about how much business, how much residential in this whole area. And the idea kind of settled on a compromise thing that at the arterial streets you have commercial, and in between you have residential. If you just kind of let it go piece by piece, eventually the commercial wins out and takes over because it's, I guess, more lucrative. Do we have any concept of that today by saying on the arterial is business and in between? There's a big fight over Russo's, for example, when he wanted to expand commercial into his block, and it was stopped by this kind of compromise.
I think you're right, we don't want it to go everywhere, but the thing that I think is inferior about Savannah compared to maybe Charleston is we have such a lack of commercial in our neighborhoods. We have so much residential, there's no, you know, we don't have, there's so many of those corner buildings with the corners on them, none of them have commercial on them. Go to Charleston, they all do, because our zoning here.
The other thing I would say is that the street really is a commercial street already. And I think what makes this particular block unique is that 39th Street really is an all residential block. 38th Street is really an all residential block. And this one is already a commercial block. And I also think, and this sounds silly, but like if you kind of can corral tourists, visitors, people coming out to dinner to our street, that prevents people from your street. I mean, not that you don't want visitors, but if we're talking about sort of thinking about where tourists are going or where commercial business is, if it's on one block, we're kind of keeping people off your residential streets.
And by the way, I don't want to become Charleston, but I would love to see more commercial in this neighborhood and also in the Victorian district. I think it would be great. I mean, it's a shame, there's that block on Duffy, and I'm sure you know about it, Josh. And they got turned down for zoning, and now it's just an empty building sitting there. That whole area should have been restaurants and cool stuff. And I do live right by it.
I just wanted to know, historically too, those corner entrances, they were commercial. And typically they would have rented out the top floor, or it would have been the family-owned businesses dwelling. So it only makes sense for that, at least that corner building, to be commercial.
Thank you.
Anybody else have a question? I am surprised. Very good. Thank you both very much.
Appreciate it, guys.
Alright, so up next we have Josh Sexton and Joseph Burkesh.
Yeah.
Last name like Van Apeldoorn. They are from the Sexton Pub, and they are here to talk about the potential for to-go cup expansion.
I'll second that. Yeah, we are just starting this discussion. We've been talking with some of our neighboring businesses, restaurants and bars from here to the Victoria District. We just wanted to let you all know, put on y'all's radar, that we're starting this discussion. There's nothing set in plans, there's nothing that's been sent to the city yet, but we wanted to reach out to the neighborhood and see how everybody kind of feels about it before we go too much further with it. We want to expand the to-go cup, the 16 ounce to-go cup, all the way to Victory Drive like they had right after COVID. And there was a lot of weird bureaucracy that happened that kind of made it fall off the map, but a lot of the city, a lot of the people don't really realize that that has happened. So we still see people in our neighborhood walking around with drinks. The police are pretty lax on it, so we want to be able to kind of either expand it or get very solid rules behind it so that everyone kind of knows. I think it would be a good thing for our neighborhood because it comes with a lot of benefits. We want to kind of bridge the gap between downtown and the Starland District and Victoria District as far as how well they take care of trash pickup, how well they take care of security in the neighborhoods, how well they maintain crosswalks and things like that. Let's see, I got my notes right here, sorry. It helps keeps us competitive as a neighborhood, competing with downtown. Downtown is always bringing in lots and lots of tourists. Tourists are starting to get sent up to the Starland District lately, and we kind of want to cater to that as well as a business. As far as handling the pain points of like having people walking around with alcohol, we already have that kind of. We already have people, you can go into a gas station, you can buy a big beer and stick it in a brown paper bag and walk around legally, but you can't go into a restaurant or a business and walk around, like get a to-go cup of a cocktail and walk to your next business. Because we're a pretty concentrated neighborhood of restaurants and bars, and going from one to another kind of brings more people and more attention to the neighborhood. Like I said, we haven't submitted anything to the city. Wanted to approach you guys first. If you have any questions, you can feel free to talk to me or Joseph or ask us now.
Were you envisioning this as a special occasion, like a St. Patrick's Day, or an all the time?
So the St. Patrick's Day thing was really interesting. We got approved for it for one single day, and that honestly didn't affect our business in a great deal. I would say this would be more of a permanent thing that would, I think, benefit the neighborhood in general.
Anybody else?
I just have to be concerned about the people walking around our neighborhoods and then throwing their cups all over the place, and they just, I mean, we already have issues with lots of trash and people just literally taking their food containers and their fast food stuff and just throwing it in our yards, and I mean, it's already a problem.
We absolutely agree. So part of this proposal, if the neighborhood decides that it's something that we want to move forward with, would be an increased partnership with the City of Savannah Waste Management. Be it more trash cans on the corners and on those arterial streets as they were noted as before. Increased trash pickup, more frequent patrols by police, actually enforcing rules that they have set in place for businesses. Because right now, as Josh mentioned, you can walk into the gas station, get your alcohol to go as long as it's in a brown paper bag. But then businesses who actually like monitor our point of sale and making sure that we're not selling to drunk or disorderly patrons, we would get penalized for selling to-go alcohol, but the gas stations don't have any kind of monitoring in place. So people are able to just kind of throw their trash in people's yards, leave it on the city streets, and there's not a whole lot of infrastructure in place for actual trash pickup and waste management. So this would be kind of like all-inclusive. It would be a direct partnership with the city, increasing waste management and increasing patrols and dealing with the litter that is already abundant in our neighborhood.
Has the city approached you at all about this?
We have not talked to anybody about anything. This is something we want to put on everyone's radar to see kind of how
So
everyone feels.
you guys started the conversation, or did somebody from the city approach you or other business owners about this?
Other business owners, yeah.
The city approached other business owners?
I know other business owners approached us.
Oh, okay, thank you.
How far along are you guys in this process? Like, is it just a conversation at this point, or?
I have proposals drafted, but I'm not sending anything until we talk to everybody and I get everybody's opinions on the matter.
The city provided recyclable aluminum cups for St. Patrick's Day, and would that be something that might, maybe they could establish recycling bins for just that type of thing?
That is absolutely part of my proposal.
Okay.
It would either need to be like something standardized.
Yeah.
So like, there needs to be, recycling bins on the street corners so that people aren't just littering everywhere. As well as I think like having them be recyclable material as opposed to single-use plastic is a big benefit for not just our neighborhood, but the globe at large. So yeah, that's absolutely part of the conversation.
How you doing?
Good.
I know you guys are just early in the stage of this, but I just want to urge you before you go too much further along with it. Go down the area bounded by essentially Whitaker, MLK, Broadway, and Bay Street on Friday or Saturday night after midnight, especially closer to the bars closing, and see what the situation is like down there right now. It's out of control the last couple of years. I'm sure if the police were still here, they might give you some more insight on it, but they have loudspeakers playing at high volume, probably waking up motel guests, asking them to disperse. All the drunk people are in the streets. I've got nothing against people getting drunk. I enjoy it from time to time. But they block the streets to traffic and everyone's just in the street. I would suggest work with the city to find some kind of system for enforcement. I don't want a tax on drinks necessarily, but find some way to pay for it because it's ridiculous down there right now. And I would hate to see this neighborhood go that way in 10 or 15 years. I don't want alcohol licenses restricted or anything like that. But really go down there late night and just see what a mess it is. I'll talk to several people, Bill Dars that used to write for the paper and everything. He was kind of shocked at how bad it is down there right now. I don't know what the city's doing other than just blocking the streets. And I'm sure you've heard about all the incidents in the news and everything like that. And I don't think anybody here wants this neighborhood to turn into a district like that. Most of downtown where the to-go zone is works great. Everything closer to Liberty Street, 17, it all is fine. But that particular district, I could see this area, especially closer to Starland. I'm not calling any business particular because it's pretty great down here. But it could get out of control pretty quickly if this becomes a more popular place for to go bouncing from bar to bar.
Agreed.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I have a quick question. What is the expansion area? I mean, because when they did the To-Go Cup to Victory, it was Bull at one point, just on Bull. So are we talking MLK to Broad, or is there an expansion area that you're,
Basically the same expansion zone that they permit for St. Patty's Day.
which was what?
I believe it's MLK to Broad. Right?
Broad.
Broad, sorry.
Broad, was that way?
St. Patrick's Day goes all the way to Truman.
Yeah.
Okay, well, not to the Truman.
Victory to.
Is Victory Broad? Yeah, Victory to Broad,
Okay,
okay.
so the entire Thomas Square.
Yeah, the entire Thomas Square.
And Victoria.
District.
Yeah.
In Victorian.
Okay.
And some of the other business owners that we've spoken to are in the Victoria district as well.
So how many business owners are we talking?
We have talked to 5.
And they're all on board?
They're all on board. But obviously, like being part of a neighborhood association, like we're not trying to do this in a vacuum, and we really value the neighborhood that we're in. We really value everybody's input and everybody's opinions. So we're not going to move forward until we've talked to everybody and everybody understands where we're coming from and we understand where everybody else is coming from.
What kind of volume of sales do you think you'd be looking at? And would this be just sort of closer to closing time, or would this suddenly be like a 24-hour drinking zone?
So it would not be 24 hours, absolutely not. I think it depends like street by street downtown, but there's restricted hours. So like I wouldn't be able to sell to-go cups after like 10:30 or something like that.
We couldn't sell To-Go Cups after.
And do you have an idea of what sort of volume you're looking at
Like now, or if we get approved for expansion?
if you get approval for this expansion?
It's really hard. We only opened in October, so like we don't really know what our volume's gonna look like this weekend. I think the main premise behind this is a rising tide raises all ships. Talking to a lot of the business owners, not just in Thomas Square, but also in the Victorian District, like I mentioned. It gets frustrating sometimes seeing the kind of volume that downtown gets, and we're expected to abide by a certain set of like rules and restrictions, and it really puts a chokehold on business in comparison to what downtown is capable of doing. And that's a multifaceted problem that snake has many heads. But I think a big part of it is the lack of clarity between a gas station not having to monitor the patrons to which it sells versus a bar when we are expected to and comply with safe service laws. I think that's a big part of it.
Having not too long ago lived through the fact that the city had to close Bull Street between Victory and 37 and Havisham between Henry and 37 every Thursday night because of the outside activities concerning no enforcement of alcohol sales. I don't want to see that again, but right now I live between Bull Street, Havisham Street, and East Broad. And I can tell you that there is not, from Thursday through Saturday, a night when there is not traffic, noise, and trash under my window, okay? And what you're talking about is going to create an atmosphere of more partying, going from one place to the other, which will increase the traffic with me. You also mentioned the city needed to increase the trash cans. Do you know how much it costs the city per year, per trash can, to install and maintain? Close to $8,000 on the schedule that they're on now. And what you're talking about will increase the volume downtown, in the city market area, and Bay Street and River Street. they empty trash cans multiple times a day. That costs much more than $8,000. So there's things, those costs would be borne by the residents, not by you.
We believe that the increased sales revenue and tax revenue from our alcohol sales would help mitigate a lot of that. And like you said, you are already dealing with this issue of trash and partying happening outside of your home already when the law is not there. What we're trying to do is set it up so that there are clear rules, better investment from the city, so that that doesn't happen as much.
They can't enforce it downtown. How are they going to enforce it downtown?
Well, that's up to the city of Savannah, but we will be giving them money and trying to work with them as best we can to make sure that they do.
Go ahead, Neil.
I don't know if you're aware, but the city is soliciting a new position. It's gonna be like a nightlife liaison or something, or a nightclub or bar liaison. It's kind of for this very reason, for bars to advocate, with residents, it's primarily focused on downtown, but it is affecting area, other areas like Starland. I don't know when the position's gonna be started. It's already been posted out there, so just so you guys are aware, for advocacy for both owners and for residents. So that may be a intermediary. I don't wanna say nightlife liaison. I know that's, sounds like the cruise director, but if it was something of that nature, so that is coming down the pipeline there.
As a bar owner, I just want to make a note here. I'm pretty ambivalent on to-go cups because we don't need to use to-go cups. Our drinks are this big. But I do want to bring some context back to how this process has played out in the previous year, the previous council. There was our neighborhood association. There was a push from Victoria neighborhood, led from that side of town, to get to-go cups expanded. The city actually brought up a proposal for a to-go cup expansion zone, and we saw that recently, and it included all of Baldwin Park. So there was a big pushback from the Victorian and from all the neighborhood associations. Essentially sent a letter that said we don't like the plan as is proposed. And the pilot program happened as well during COVID across Bull Street, but no accurate data was really pulled from that, I believe, because the pilot just fizzled out, I guess, because of all the lockdowns and stuff like that, so there was no way to really follow up on it. But I do want to make a note, just like the hotel development overlay kind of dictated the neighborhood's position on hotels, I think things like to-go cups, whether you're for it or not, we should probably start trying to formulate some opinion as a neighborhood about what we would see, whether you agree with what they have or not. The city definitely has a vested interest in expanding the zone, which they've shown as a top-down, just top-down. I mean, they had a plan ready to go. Also, Judy Jones had supposedly contacted a few business owners as well to kind of provoke this conversation to happen as well. So that's got to be brought into disclosure, because someone was telling me that. So I think there is an interest by the city to see to-go cup expansion happen. So I'm just letting everyone know that is on the agenda somewhere. Whether they work with us or against the neighborhood is to be determined. I just want to bring that up as something to think about as well. So it can't just be the boogeyman or what may happen or what will happen, because the city could unilaterally execute this plan without any oversight and just let the chips fall. So don't forget that part, that's all. I just want to add another note real quick, that even in the smallest area we might be talking about, you're including the Downtown Neighborhood Association, Victorian, and us. And so they're going to be involved in this conversation as well, and they are already. I think the presidents of all these groups are thinking about trying to ask the city for a sit down with Judy Jones, with the city manager, with Dietrich, to just get this out in the open, like, okay, why are we talking about this again? What's the motivation here? If we are going to go forward, let's have a process for it. Because one of the most frustrating things last time was that there was just no process. And when we asked for more of it, they just dropped it and said, okay, well, you guys don't want it. And no, we just wanted more clarity. So if this is going to happen again, we want more clarity and more transparency in why this is happening.
Anybody else have any other questions? Okay, thanks guys very much. So this will definitely be an Alright, so last, I believe, is Jason Combs, and he is gonna give us a brief update on